Thanks for joining me today on the real world mile per gallon test. This week, we've got the 2024 Ford Mustang GT. This is the V8, of course, and it has a 6-speed manual. So just remember, I'm driving the manual, so your results may be a little bit different than mine. But we're gonna take this out, find out what the mile per gallon is going to end up at. Does it match the EPA? Will it match what the Mustang says inside? It is supposed to average 17 miles per gallon. So 14 in the city, 23 in the highway, 17 mile per gallon average. Anyway, let's take a quick look at this and then we'll head to the gas station. As I said, this is the V8. This has the new Coyote motor in it with dual 80 millimeter throttle bodies, 480 horsepower out of this thing. This also might look black, but it's not black. It's dark matter gray. So it's really hard to tell unless you kind of get around some of the black areas. This also does have the bronze package on it. So you do have a bronze pony in the front. You have the bronze Sinister 19-inch wheels. They are awesome. Also Brembo brakes, front and rear. This also has the summer tires on it, and it has the GT Performance package on it. So you've got this larger spoiler and the Brembo brakes and a few other items. Let's see about getting into the back here. Pop the trunk. There is your trunk. It's actually a decent size. And then you also have a sub back here for that B&O system. Yeah, pretty good amount of room. Underneath here, no spare tire, but you do have a pump. All right. Now, one other thing that this does have, as we get inside, you can see we have the light colored interior with Recaro sport seats. And that is something that was added onto this. Now, one thing you need to know, you add Recaro seats, you lose heated and ventilated seats, just so you're aware of that. You also don't have powered seats, so you have to use the bar to slide it up, and then you have this to raise you up or down, and then you have this for your backrest. You do have some seats back here, although you can see there's not much room to put anybody back here. You probably could put some very small children back here, or slide yourself all the way to the front to make room for any larger passengers for the back. There you see 6-speed manual shift. I don't believe this has the Tremec in it. I think the Tremec is only in the Dark Horse, but I will pull up the specs to check and let you know later on if it does. You have an electronic parking brake right here, but this electronic brake's pretty cool because it actually looks like a regular brake handle. Let's take a quick look at this new Coyote V8 engine with the dual throttle bodies. There it is in all its glory. You got dual 80 millimeter throttle bodies, 5.0 Coyote. That's freaking awesome, isn't it, guys? All right, let's see what kind of gas mileage this thing gets. I know, most people won't worry about it, most people won't care, but that's what we do on this channel. We review them and we test them. So let's get going to the gas station. All right, we are at the gas station, as you can see. So we're gonna get filled up here, and there is no special requirement for gas, just says 87 and above, so that's what we will be using. I know there's going to be a lot of people that will say you need to put premium in it, and that's fine for those people that want to put premium in it, but when it doesn't require it, most people are not going to do it. So that's the way we're going to run this test. All right, just in case you're wondering, we've got 494 for 91, 414 for 89, and 329 for 87 here in Illinois. We are going. Okay, there is our result so far. 5 gallons is what we ended up putting in. We are filled up now. All right, let's go in and we'll reset everything and get started. Okay, we are gonna follow trip 1 right here. So we're gonna reset this. Mile per gallon has already, okay. We're gonna reset, we're gonna hold it down, reset it. Okay, here we go. We're getting ready to get started. So we're gonna be headed to our first town. And on the way, I'm gonna give you the parameters of the test that we're going to run today. And then I will update you as we enter town, make a loop through that town, and I'll update you again as we leave town. So let's get going. If you haven't joined me on one of these drives, I'm going to tell you what the parameters of the test are, and they're not hard. They're pretty simple. It's pretty much everyday life drive. First thing we do is we go to the gas station, we get the car filled up, and then we drive 100 miles. We drive 50 miles in one direction, we turn around and drive 50 miles in the exact opposite direction. That's important because we want to negate any wind or terrain that could affect the results. Because we do this with every car. We run the same route every time with every car. That way it's an even starting point for all vehicles. During the first 50 miles, we're going to drive through 2 towns. In those 2 towns, we're going to make loops through those towns. So we hit stop signs, stop lights, some traffic, you know, normal everyday things. And then we will get up on the interstate. We'll drive about 10 miles on the interstate. We'll turn around and we'll come back. The turnaround point should be about 50 miles. On our way back, we're going to drive through those same 2 towns, but we're going to do a loop through those in reverse order that we did the first time. Same thing, stop lights, stop signs, some traffic, normal everyday stuff. Then we will drive back to the gas station, we will fill up, and we will see what the EPA number of 17 mile per gallon is, what the car says that we're getting for mile per gallon versus what we are actually getting using a calculator and dividing how many gallons we used into 100. So how many miles we driven. So that'll give us the exact real world mile per gallon average of this test. We also drive in normal mode. We don't drive in eco mode or sport mode or any other mode like that. No matter what the car is, we always drive in normal mode. Most people just get in their car and drive. They don't change mode settings. Some do, some don't, but most do not. So that's how we drive this. If you want to put it yours in eco, you're probably going to get a little bit better mileage out of it. So that is your preference. Wind today is about 15 miles per hour coming out of the northwest, so we will have a little bit of a tailwind to start and headwind on the way back. Temperature is about 78 degrees right now. I think it's supposed to stay about that. Might get up to 80 this afternoon, but during this test we should be right around 78 or 80. And inside the cabin we keep it between 68 and 72. Right now it is set on 70 degrees. And lastly, we drive 5 miles per hour over the limit. So that is what most normal people do. They drive over the speed limit. The average is about 5 miles per hour over. So on the highway, we'll be driving 60. On the interstate, we'll be driving 75. And in town, we will be driving somewhere between 35 and 50 miles per hour. We just entered our first town, so I'm going to give you an update on that right now. So as I was giving you the parameters of the test, I got into town a little faster than I thought I was. So we're driving through the first town right now. We are going to do a loop in this town. So far, we're at 5.3 miles, 23.7 miles per gallon. So we are right just slightly above what the highway average is supposed to be, which makes sense because we were on the highway. So we'll make a loop through this town and I will update you as we head out of town. We just left town after making that loop. So right now we are at 20.7 miles per gallon, 8.3 miles driven. So we are headed to our next town now, and on the way I'm going to give you some more information about this Mustang GT. I love Mustangs. I always have. I've always liked the way the Mustangs looked. Even if you go back to, the 60s and 70s, the Mustangs just looked awesome. Now, Fox bodies, and I'm going to probably catch some grief for this, but Fox bodies are not my favorite. I don't really care for that body style. There were some Ford Escorts that kind of had a similar body style to that, and I didn't understand why at that time period, so I'm not sure why those Mustangs are popular now. But that's, personal preference. It's just not my design choice. This one that we're driving right now, I mentioned earlier that it is dark matter gray. It is not black. Even though it is really dark and it looks pretty black, it's not technically black. This also does have the bronze package, and the bronze package gives you that 19-inch Sinister wheels that we looked at the beginning of the video. Those are awesome wheels. You do get those on the GT Performance package also, and then you add the bronze package, and then they are just painted bronze. You also have a bronze pony in the front, bronze GT logo in the back, bronze on the 5.0 badge on the side. The GT Performance package that's added on here, that gives you the Brembo brakes, it gives you that bigger spoiler, and it gives you the 373 torsion rear axle. So that really gives you a solid performing car. It does feel great. Some other additions to this car is the active performance exhaust and the MagnaRide dampening system. Now that makes this car very comfortable to drive. As we talked about earlier, it is of course the V8, not the EcoBoost. So this is the Coyote, the new generation of Coyote, and it gets 480 horsepower. 480. It's just freaking awesome. It's amazing how the next generation can gain 30 horsepower. And they say with the active exhaust, when you have that opened up, you gain another 6 horsepower and 8 torque on top of that. Which probably you're not really gonna notice, but it's nice that it's there. 0 to 60 in this 6-speed manual is rated at around 4.1. Fuel economy, which we talked about earlier, and why we're doing this video right here, is 14 in the city, 23 on the highway, and 17 mile per gallon average. So 17 is the number we're trying to hit today. The interior in here, I love the dual screen. I don't think it's too big. I don't think it takes up too much room. I know some people don't like it, but I think it looks great. A lot of carbon fiber in this one also. The Recaro seats, wow, they are freaking amazing. They feel great. I'm super comfortable right now, and they hug you. They keep you from moving around. Pricing for the GT starts at $42,860. This one, which is the GT Premium, starts at $47,380. This one, as it is with all of the options that they added on here, which is the bronze package for $1,000, the GT package for $5,000. You've got active exhaust for $1,200. This also has you got the Recaro seats, were $1,650. The red seat belts right here, they were $300. And then the MagnaRide dampening system, $1,750. For a total price, this car, what I'm sitting in right now, $61,620. So yeah, so you got a wide array of pricing to make this thing the way that you want it. And don't forget, you can also go upgrade to that dark horse if you want to. All right, guys, we entered our next town, so I'm going to update you on that, and we're going to make a loop through that town, and then I'll update you before we get on the interstate. We are in our second town, and yeah, of course, just pull out in front of me. That's okay. And then he thinks he's cool. He's gonna like speed up real fast. Anyway, we're at 30.5 miles, 26.1 miles per gallon. All right, I will update you again after this loop and this, I don't know, this crazy guy gets out of the way and stops acting ridiculous. We're coming up on our turnaround point and we're in a little bit of a construction area, so I want to get this to you guys quickly. So we are at 50.8 miles driven, 23.3 miles per gallon. So we're holding pretty steady at that 23 miles per gallon. All right, we're going to be getting off here soon. I just got to see where our opening is. And there we go. Okay, usually we can come up here, make a quick turnaround and get right back down on the interstate, depending on traffic, but usually there's not a whole lot of traffic up here. And there's really not today either, so we can go right on out. And I realized earlier that my mic may have not been on when we got on the interstate last time. So you guys may not have been able to hear the engine and exhaust and everything as well as it does with this other mic. So we're going to do that again right here. Maybe. May not have enough room to do a lot of acceleration, but you still be able to hear that because with this active exhaust, it already sounds really good. Give ourselves a little bit of room here. Do have a lot of cars coming. Here we go. Hopefully that sounded good for you guys. Anyway, now that we've accelerated up here, go ahead and give you the numbers. 52.4 miles and 23 miles per gallon. All right, I will update you guys in a few minutes. Okay, we're coming up on our exit off the interstate. So far, we're at 65.1 miles, 23.6 miles per gallon. All right, we're going to get off the interstate here, and then we are going to drive back into town. We're going to make a loop through the town, and then I'm going to update you again where we're at and whether the city driving is going to lower this down. Okay, we are heading out of town after making that loop. Getting ready to get up on the highway, and right now 73 miles driven at 22.9 miles per gallon. So it looks like we may settle in right around 23. But we'll see after this highway drive to our next town. I will update you when we get there. All right, we are back out on the highway. I kind of missed the exit of town update, so we're going to update you right now. We went to 100.9 miles and 23.4 miles per gallon. We did have a lot of traffic coming out of town, and that's kind of why I forgot to update you guys. Anyway, now we're at 101, so we're going to be probably around 103, my guess, maybe 104 miles on this trip. Okay, we are back at the gas station. We were able to get our same pump that we used earlier. Final results, 102.7 and 23.5 miles per gallon. Excellent numbers there. So now let's get filled up and run a calculation and see if this matches what we get. All right, we have made it back. We're going to get filled up same as before. We are putting in 87 octane. And here we go. Well, there you have it. 4.439 gallons. All right. Got our receipt. Let's get in and run the numbers. So you saw that test was awesome. Ended up being right about 23 and a half, I think is what it was. So 23.5 is what the car registered that as. And that's just a half a gallon over what the EPA says for the highway miles. So it did really, really well. So we're going to calculate now. So we've got 102.7 miles, and then we are going to divide that by our gallons that we put in, which was 4.43. 4.43 equals 23.18. That is awesome. Like I said, I'm driving the stick, so you'll probably get a little bit better mileage depending on what settings you use and how you drive it. So you could get better, you could get worse. 2024 Ford Mustang GT Coyote V8 with a 6-speed manual, real world mile per gallon is 23.18. If you haven't subscribed yet, go down, hit the subscribe button. Then click on one of the videos that's on the screen. One of them is one that I chose for you, which is a review of this Mustang GT. The other one, YouTube chose for you. I think you're going to like both of them, so I will see you in that next video.